Podcast City Network. The Everett Lee Show.
Let's get the shades on to cover up the black eye I got. Welcome, everyone, to the Everett Lee Show. I'm the Everett Lee. I'm back again, man. I think this is the first time I've been back in about a couple months. The last time I did a live podcast was with Chris Carnage for WandaVision, which is pinned at the top of the page of the Everett Lee Show. You can check that out. And this one will definitely be pinned at the top because tonight, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. That right there, what a hell of a season. And I asked Chris Carnage to come on and talk with me with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but he's been busy. And there's only one guy I know that can definitely deliver and give some more insight and knowledge on a lot of things that a lot of just people who follow the MCU, not much of the comic books, on what's going on with things, because there's some things here and there I'm going to be asking my co-host joining me tonight here on the Everett Lee Show, none other than FGW's and Tales from the Indies, Ripper Blackhart. How you doing?
How you doing, Everett? It's good to be back once again. Should have been your first choice. Just saying.
You're going to kill me with those first choices, man, aren't you? Oh, man. So, what have you been up to since the last time I talked with you? I had you on a live podcast. I think it was like last year, Everett ELS Uncut. So, what's been going on with Ripper Blackheart?
Well, FGW is back to running regular Friday night shows and War Wrestling in Lima, also back to running monthly shows, and OCW starts back up this month in Akron, Ohio. So I'm working for all those, still waiting to hear what's going on with New Ohio Wrestling as they're waiting, probably come back with the Arnold Classic that happens in Columbus. They usually do a show there, and right now it's being pushed back and all this stuff. But yeah, a lot of stuff like this Friday. Let's get out my old man spectacles here, and I'll give you a list of what's going on with old River here.
Okay.
This Friday, FGW's got their big show. We do one big show once a month, right, which later will be on Patreon. That's the only way to see it unless you're there live. You go there live, you be there live to see it, or you have to subscribe to the Patreon page, FGW Patreon page, and there's different levels of it and whatnot. But FGW Maximum Mayhem is this Friday. And FGW titles on the line. It's the champion Cody Hawk going up against the Guiding Light, the leader of the Congregation, one Matthew Taylor. And then the Bold and Beautiful, I believe this will be their first tag team title defense since winning the titles last month.
Wow. In
a ladder match against my team and Roach, but they will be facing Roach. And then on the 22nd, I said, OCW starts back up. They missed their anniversary show last year, so they're having it now, tradition, on May 22nd. The doors are open to 6, the bell will be 7. They have a TLC match for their title, which is also held by the Guiding Light, Matthew Taylor, as Jimmy Shane tries to take it away from him. And then they have a thing called the Brass Ring, which they hang a brass ring above the ring.
Uh-huh.
And it's a multi-man match, and whoever gets the brass ring, it's sort of like the Money in the Bank deal is they cash in, they turn in a brass ring at any time to get a title shot in the future. So that's what's going on there. It's in at the Chaparral's Event Center in Akron, Ohio. And then on 29th in Lima, Ohio, at the Empowered Sports Center, it's War 18, the 18th anniversary of War Wrestling, and the Hall of Fame, the 9-year anniversary of the Hall of Fame show, which the Hall of Fame this year is inducting Chiron, is inducting Chris Hall, Sherman Tank, and our friend Cody Hawk, all getting inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. And then, the doors for that open. That's May 29th. Doors for that opens at 4. Hall of Fame starts at 5:30. And then first ball's at 7. There's a lot of stuff going on there, too. It's amazing. But everything's limited capacity, though. So
right.
if you want to see these events and you're in the area, I suggest getting your tickets as soon as you can, because, like I said, we're allowed to operate, but we still have restrictions and whatnot. Yeah. So there's still limited capacity on how many fans we can let in. But yeah, that's my month of May right there.
Wow, pretty busy, man. Pretty busy, but I love it. I love it. I love everything that's going on with you and what you're doing in wrestling and just everything, man. You stay busy like me. Everett Lee stays busy.
Yeah, at the wall of the Hall of Fame, I'm inducting Chris Hall, and I'm one of the 3 people inducting Sherman Tank. And that Hall of Fame, I have managed and been across the ring from all 4 of them guys.
Nice.
Our careers. So.
Excellent, man. Congratulations. I think I'll give you a cheering right there. Yep, I got the soundboard with me tonight, Ripper.
All right. Things are going to get funky.
Yep, they're going to get funky. And especially with what we're going to be talking about here tonight with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. What a hell of a show that came on to Disney Plus, because I kept up with WandaVision, and I watched that. I watched the first season of WandaVision. I loved that. I loved everything that happened with that show right there. But I was really excited about when I heard about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was wondering what direction they're going to take these 2 characters, because both of them basically were sidekicks for Captain America in the movies. I mean, the first Captain America, Bucky, he was, Cap's sidekick until he died, and then you didn't hear nothing, and then he comes back as the Winter Soldier in the second Captain America movie, and then Steve Rogers was trying to rehabilitate him, trying to save him in the third one in Civil War, which caused the Avengers to break up. And then along for the ride for the second movie, we're introduced to Falcon, Anthony Mackie, and then even in the third one, he was pretty much his sidekick. And then we saw the fallout with Civil War with the 2 characters. Bucky ended up in Wakanda. They tried to unbrainwash him from what Zemo did, what Hydra did to him. And then he pretty much was ready and fought right next to the Avengers in Infinity War, and so did Falcon. But they got snapped, dude. They got snapped, and then wasn't around for 5 years, and they come back, and they help kick Thanos' ass and have him snapped. And then pretty much at the end of Endgame, he hands Steve Rogers, pulls a 180 and he ends up going back and marrying Agent Carter, his love interest, and then he pretty much is an old man. He hands the shield off to Sam, and Sam was just like, I don't know if I could fill these shoes, man. I mean, big shoes to fill. And Bucky felt like, yeah, you're the guy. He felt he was the guy. But Falcon and Winter Soldier, man, that first episode, Ripper, pretty much shows what's been going on since they came back and after Endgame. How was your reaction to the first episode there, introducing what Sam's going through and what Bucky's going through, man? What was your reaction to that?
And what you got to know about, now, this was supposed to be the first series released.
Oh, it was?
It was supposed to be released before WandaVision. But WandaVision was able to wrap up filming because they were more on a closed set, as where Falcon and Winter Soldier depended on a lot of filming on location.
Right.
And that's why you got WandaVision before you got Falcon Winter Soldier. Falcon Winter Soldier was actually supposed to come out first on Disney Plus, and this one, and yeah, and it didn't disappoint. My favorite movies of the MCU are the Captain America movies because you could take the suit off of Steve Rogers and they're still just great movies. They're spy thrillers that just happen to have superheroes in them. You take the suits off of them and keep them in the same roles in these movies, they're still great movies.
Right.
That's the thing about them. And I like what they did, how they gave the shield to Sam, just because, this day and age, why not? And it happened in the comics. Although Bucky was Captain America for a while before Sam was in the comic books.
Right.
So everybody thought for sure that's the way it was going to go, but and I like the fact that he didn't take it right away, and we were introduced to the U.S. agent who, and I remember when this happened as a kid that Captain America wasn't going to be Captain America anymore, and this new guy came in, and that he was kind of a goof. I mean, now see, like in the show, he's really into it and all that. And he's not really a bad guy, but like in the comics, like they stage a whole thing where for him to save somebody and stuff like that, and the Battlestar is actually one of those three guys that attacks somebody in the comic and makes him look good, and then later they bring him in as his. And originally, also, he was the new Bucky originally. Oh,
really?
On the cover of one of the comics, it's Don Walker in Captain America suit, and then I can't remember the character's name. That's Battlestar, but he's in the old Bucky suit.
Okay.
It says Captain America and the new Bucky, and I'm thinking that is terrible. Don't call Black Guy Bucky, because plus they drew him with an afro. I said they're just going to make buckwheat jokes.
Yeah.
About this, which must have dawned on somebody, because it wasn't about an issue or two later. He's got a whole new costume, and he's Battlestar. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I probably have the cover somewhere. I probably have that comic somewhere of that Captain America. Like I said, because I remember when that happened in the comics, and John Walker was, how he snaps in the show.
Yeah.
And that's how he is in the comics. Is he's the reason they said he couldn't be Captain America anymore, because he was way more violent than Captain America. He was actually a superhero in the comic books. He was a superhero prior to being the new Captain America. He was I want to say his name was Super Patriot or something like that.
Right.
In the comics, and then they tapped him to be a new Captain America. But yeah, the first episode I liked where he's going from the get-go. Like I said, I knew I was going to be a fan of it just because I liked that little corner of the MCU. Mm-hmm. That involves Captain America. And like I said, Falcon, I would consider Falcon, some people would say psychic, but I would consider him he was more of a partner.
Right.
Because in the 70s,
mm-hmm.
maybe in the late 70s, maybe even in the early 80s, where the title of Captain America actually changed to Captain America and Falcon.
Right. I did some research on that, and I did find out that the shield was passed on to Falcon, but also too in the comics, when it was passed on to Falcon, didn't Steve Rogers actually come back and reclaim the mantle for Captain America at one point?
Yeah, he's done that, and he did that with Bucky, and all that stuff. I mean, he keeps coming back. He dies and he comes back. He's part of Hydra the whole time, and then no, he's not. Right. Comics, dude. But yeah, the first episode's a good jumping off start for it. It gives you, to me, it lets you know that you're about to watch something totally different than what you was watching in WandaVision.
Right, exactly. I love how the first episode established what they're doing. Sam's still doing missions as Falcon. He's still out there. That opening sequence, I mean, when he goes out there, I mean, I love that. I thought that was great. I was like, yeah, they're going to have some action in this show right there. And it wasn't too much and too little. It was just about right. And then they kind of introduced who the villain was, but not really, because you hear about the Flag Smashers.
That's my favorite part, because the Flag Smashers is one dude who hasn't, like, people behind him.
Yeah.
Costume and all. He's the Flag Smasher. I love the fact that they took that concept and turned it into I don't want to say terrorist group, because, you know, they didn't really start off that way. They weren't really a terrorist group, but for lack of a better term, he turned them into like an organization, rather than just one guy. So I loved what they did with that as an update, because he's kind of goofy character in the comic books. You know, he's kind of goofy looking and all that. But I love what they did with that, and then I love the story of what they were doing with the Winter Soldier, where he is trying to make up for everything he did when he was the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That technically he had no control over.
Yeah.
But he still feels the guilt. So, you know, he's trying to make things right in the book, and carries his book with him with the names and all that. So they're on two different paths, but at the same time they're going through a lot of the same stuff, because Sam's going through all the stuff with the family boat, you know, and all that. And then when they go, it's not in the first episode. I don't believe it's the first episode, but when they go to get the loan, that's in the first episode. Yeah, when they go get the loan, and they ask him, well, you were an Avenger, you know, didn't you? He's like, yeah, we really didn't get paid for that. And like, there was a lot of comic book fans up in arms about, no way, Tony Stark pays him, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Tony's dead.
Make a very interesting story, though. It makes a better story. So, I like that part, too, because that just shows also that these guys weren't, you know, they weren't being paid to go out there and be superheroes. They were doing this because that's who they are. They have the ability to do it. Right.
That they have the ability to do it, and that's what they do. That's what they love doing. They love helping people and helping those that need help and stuff. I did like that there, and it was like it's like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, you're the Falcon, yeah. It's like, well, didn't you get paid? It's like, no, it's pretty much like a public, you know, service thing that I'm doing. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you're the Falcon. Yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah, can I take a selfie? I was like, really, man? You're gonna deny this guy a loan, and then you're gonna want to take a selfie with him? Come on, man. I was just laughing at how ridiculous that kind of was there. But then, what I did like about Bucky, when they showed him, he's talking to psychiatrist, I love that and stuff. And she's drilling him hard, man. It's like, you're 103 years old. You only have one friend that calls you. You don't call him. What are you doing with yourself? And yeah, he was making up for the wrongs, which I did love there. And did you know who the guy was that he went and seen, his friend? He was in the first Captain America movie. He was he was a lot younger in the first one, though, but now he's an old man. And I liked how he was trying to get him Bucky hooked up with the waitress, and my favorite line was like, "And how old are you?" He's like, 103. Takes a sip of his beer.
Yeah. No, actually, the old man.
Is that him from the first one? No.
He's the father of one of the people we killed.
Yeah, I know that, but wasn't he also? He wasn't in the first Captain America. I thought he was that one of the guys that was with him. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think that.
You know which one I'm talking about, the characters
I know he was part of the Howling Commandos.
Yeah, I thought he was part of that.
Yeah.
No,
he's
okay.
It's the father of and he feels guilty that, you know, he knows this guy's still mourning his son and has no idea why his son was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And it just turns out that he was wrong place, wrong time type deal.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, and that he feels so bad about it that he befriends this old man and who he relates more to because, like you said, he is 103.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks 35, but he's 103 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he relates to this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you actually think about it, he's actually 4? He's actually 108. Thanos just gave him 5 years off his life, man.
Yeah. It's Sunday. I'm not doing math on Sundays, Everett.
And I know what else you don't do on Sundays.
I don't do requests.
But yeah, I loved how he pretty much what they showed out of the first episode. They established everything, and then at the end of the episode they announced the new Captain America because Sam gave up the shield, and pretty much, I mean, there was Don Cheadle's I forget the character's name. War Machine. What's his name?
Yeah.
Rhodey. Rhodey. Yeah, Rhodey. Rhodey basically wanted to see Sam take up the mantle, but Sam was, this is big shoes. I can't do this. I pretty much can't do this. And he understood, and he pretty much supported what choices, but he would have liked to see him take up that mantle. But at the end of it, we're introduced to, John Walker. John Walker is the new Captain America. And then at the beginning of the second episode, it goes into who is John Walker. And they're all loving him, man. They're they rolled out the red carpet for him. It's like he's the new hero. Had a history, in the military. He did 3-4 tours, and he's just this war hero. And he's the guy. He's American as you can be.
Played by Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's boy. That's his parents.
Oh, I was wondering why he looks so familiar. I did not know that. Okay.
Kurt Russell is his dad, and Goldie Hawn is his mom.
Nice. He did good playing John Walker. I loved him playing John Walker. He did great.
What drives me nuts is all these idiots out there like, oh, I don't like him, I hate him, but you're not supposed to like him.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
The whole idea good. You're not supposed to like him. He's not supposed to be your Captain America. You're supposed to be upset.
Yeah.
That he Captain America.
Exactly. When at the end of the episode when they introduced him as the new Captain America, I said to myself, I looked at my wife and I said, I was looking online, everyone all complained about Captain America, and I was like, just wait, because I knew where they're going, because the first name that popped in my head, U.S. Agent. I said,
that's who he is. That's who he becomes. He becomes U.S. Agent.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who never follow the comic books were flipping out about that, and that just followed the MCU. They didn't know that, and I was laughing at them.
There's a time in between there where he was just known as the Captain.
The Captain?
Like when he gave up Captain America, he didn't automatically become a U.S. agent. They just called him the Captain.
Wow, that's pretty bad, man.
Yeah, and that's what he was for years, was that, and then they changed him to U.S. agent, and the costume's pretty dead on, and later he gets a different costume, which I hated. Actually, he was actually part of, in the comic books, he was actually part of, towards the end, the West Coast Avengers, which later became Force Works, or something like that.
Right.
They changed it to a terrible name. Should have left it West Coast Avengers, but they changed it to something else.
Yeah.
And he was part of that there for the longest time there towards the end. I think that finally stopped sometime in the 90s. They stopped making that one. But yeah, he's got a rich history in the Marvel comics, in the comic books, from early 80s through up, probably even like they probably snuck him in stuff today that I haven't realized. But my favorite part about this whole series, my absolutely favorite part, and I had a feeling they were going to touch upon it, was Isaiah Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
As that come out of a miniseries. I want to say early 2000s. I may be wrong on the date, but it's called Truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not for sure, but I think the story goes in that one is they tested the super soldier serum on him before Steve Rogers, because back then, they're going to test it out on a black guy for in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Before, and I think that was the story in that. With the, I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. It could be more like on the show where like they afterwards, after Steve disappeared, they wanted to redo it again, and then they tested it in. But I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. Like I'm pretty sure my brother has it. I didn't get a chance to read it. I've read tons of stuff about it, and when it first came out, I was like, "This, yeah, that sounds awful and great at the same time." Awful. It sounds great for a story, but awful because that such a thing existed then. That's probably exactly how the government would have done it.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's facts. The Tuskegee Airmen, is a prime example of that. That was my favorite part of Falcon Winter Soldier, was that little side story there with him. And I had a feeling they were going to bring it in, but you didn't know for sure. Once I'm like, oh yes. I love the fact that they brought this in.
Yeah, I thought that it was interesting how Bucky brought that in there, and when they introduced him to that super soldier there, and how he reacted, and he did not like Bucky, man. I mean, because for the fact that he tried to go after, one of his things was he had to go after Bucky, on a mission there. And he pretty much wanted to be left alone, and he didn't want no part of anything with Sam or Bucky. And that was pretty intense there. But during that second episode, I do like the fact that Bucky kept bugging Sam. He said, "You should have kept the shield. Should have kept the shield."
Yeah.
He kept on, and he's like, and Bucky.
And like I said, they're under the delusion that the U.S. government owns that shield, which they do not.
No.
Howard Stark made that shield.
Yeah.
And gave it to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anybody owns it, it's Stark Industries.
Bingo. Yeah. Yeah. Piper. Potts.
Pepper Potts.
Yeah, she owns it basically because she has what Tony has now in the MCU view. I mean, that if you go that route there, she owns it. And I did like the chemistry there when he pretty much was going after the Flag Smashers and Bucky wanted to come along, and I love that dialogue they had there. And he's like, it's all usually one of the three things there: aliens,
It was aliens, wizards, and there was something else. And he's like, there is no such thing as wizards. He's like Doctor Strange. He's a sorcerer. Sorcerer's just a wizard without a hat.
Yeah, he's like, see what I did there? He's like, hey, I'm coming with you. No, you're not. And then he's like, we're not friends. Like we're co-workers.
It was almost like a buddy cop movie at some points too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. And then you had John Walker coming in with his sidekick and everything, and like, hey guys, and just like both of them were like, go away, we don't like you. They didn't like it from the start, and he tried, and they just blew him off. And then their first encounter with the Flag Smashers with the female, I forget her name off the top of my head. I love that because when they got on that semi there, and then she was in there, and they thought she was a hostage, and she smiled and she knocked Bucky through the door, and then it was like, it's on, man, it is on. And then they realized that these ain't just the Flag Smashers. Got a hold of some super serum, and it was like, how did that happen? That I thought was pretty neat, how they went into the story of how they had to track down the super serum, how that happened about. By the end of the second episode, they pretty much needed to go get an ally, which was Zemo. I knew Zemo was going to be back in some shape because of what happened with Civil War. And the third episode, the beginning of there, I loved how that happened there, Ripper. I mean, when Bucky went to go visit Zemo, and Zemo was trying to use the coding, and he's like,
yeah, that don't work anymore.
He's like, but he's still there. The Winter Soldier's still there. It's like, yeah, but no, don't work no more. And then the plan of getting him out. And then all of a sudden, I loved how that went about to get Zemo out. And then when he showed up, Sam didn't want him around, man, because of what happened with Civil War. And how'd you feel about Zemo making his appearance coming back in this series here?
Well, he's a major villain in the Captain America mythos, so they're not bringing Red Skull back,
right?
So he's the next guy in line. So it made perfect sense that if you're going to bring in a classic villain to be Zemo, because they killed off Crossbones. They killed Crossbones off in the beginning of Civil War.
I didn't like that, man. I wanted to see that character around for a little bit longer,
But he was a major one in '80. But like I said, it was always in Captain America mythos. It's Red Skull, and then it's Baron Zemo, right below him. So, of course, he was the obvious choice for it. And possibly we could be getting a setup for the Thunderbolts, because the Thunderbolts is Baron Zemo. Citizen V is Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
He takes on the hero persona, and then he gets other villains to take on these hero personas, and they become the Thunderbolts, which is, kind of interesting. They were bad guys doing good stuff, but like I said, I didn't read a lot into those when those were out. But the concept is like bad guys posing as superheroes it's kind of cool. I think it'd make it for a great movie, even a series.
Yeah.
Even, yeah, I liked it. I liked his whole interaction with everybody, bribing the kids with the candy.
That was great.
And then the whole thing when Wakanda wanted him.
Yeah.
They kept showing up for him and stuff. That was
good.
And that guy just does. I can't remember the actor's name. Plays Zemo, but just his demeanor, portraying Zemo was just, to me, dead on what I remember reading in the comics. Like, he's just arrogant as shit, and thinks he's one step ahead of everybody when. Clearly, he wasn't in this one, but
right.
He was a lot of times throughout it. Eventually, they got up to him.
Yeah, yeah. I did like the fact that he was helping them try to track down who created the super serum in that third episode, where they went to the one town there, and he explained it's like, you got to be this guy. Sam had to be this Tiger King, whatever it is, guy. And he's like, don't talk. And he's like, you got to be the Winter Soldier. And he's like, I can't. He's like, yeah, you can. It's India. And then they showed up, and then he starts kicking everyone's ass, and Sam's looking at him like, okay, you're still the Winter Soldier. I mean, he is, but like physically part of him is, but mentally he's not. He's Bucky Barnes, and that's what's different about it. He's always been a
trained soldier. He's always been a trained soldier.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier was an assassin.
Right.
And that's the part he's trying to fight, is his urge to be the assassin.
Okay. That makes much more sense there, because what we find out, like in the fourth episode there at the beginning of it, with what happened during his time in Wakanda and stuff. But I love the fact that they do get the information about where the super serum and who's making it and where at. And of course, Agent Carter comes back in.
Sharon Carter is back.
Yeah.
And she was on the run because she helped him during Civil War,
Right.
Helped Steve, and she's been on the run the whole time.
Yeah.
Since Civil War, she's been on the run.
Exactly. She's pretty much been on the run there. And we find out just a little bit more about the Flag Smashers. They're pretty much, their purpose is that they are pretty pissed about how everything during those 5 years when everyone got snapped, people started coming together, and then once people came back, they pretty much where they came back, they got snapped back to right before they got snapped. There was like people living in their houses, and they get kicked out and stuff like this. And their whole purpose, I understood that, because it was pretty crazy. Because I mean, especially when you saw in WandaVision or in the one episode when Rambo came back and how chaotic it was, you got to saw it from that point of view. And I understand what the Flag Smashers were mad about, because they wanted things to go back like they were, because things were great. And everyone comes back, and it's like, you just messed up everything now. You should have stayed gone, because things were getting better.
Thanos was right. Thanos was right the whole time.
He was right. He was right. I mean, he pretty much was, man. And they had, I understood what their mission was. I understand, like, okay, these guys are pissed because everyone's coming back. And now they pretty much want to stop that. So they get with someone, which we find out is who found out how to make this super serum. But he also got
a version of it, or at least a version of it.
Yeah. Just a version of it. I agree with you right there. Just a version of it, because the guy was smart enough to do it, but the reason why it took so long for him to do it was he got snapped, and then he comes back. And I was like, I like Zemo to me in this episode. I was like, he's a cold son of a bitch, man, because he shoots that doctor after all the information was revealed, and then I'm like, you
son of a bitch.
His logic is sound, though.
Yeah,
You're not like, but his logic is sound. He's the only guy who knows how to make it.
Yeah,
Kill it, you can't make no more.
Right.
Nobody can force him to make no more.
Right. Because
and it's pretty sad that Zemo was the voice of reason through several of these episodes. I mean, it sucked. The stuff that they had to do sucked, but the greater good, some of the stuff Zemo was saying is, I agree with Zemo. You got to get rid of this guy, and you can't. She is turning fanatical. She is getting to that point where you can't help her.
Right.
Saying won't help her. And no, she's past that. Once she starts hurting innocent people, she's past it. Mm-hmm. Now you gotta shift gears, and it's no longer prevent. It's a end. You've got to take them out. It's no longer trying to prevent her from doing anything, prevent anybody else from getting hurt. She's already hurting people. So you got to do. Like I said, it's a terrible, terrible thing that it has to come to that.
Yeah.
But also, it's a harsh realization is that's how the world works, and that's what Mm-hmm. And Sam, my favorite part. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Episodes you're trying to do. No,
that's fine.
Episode, but dude, when he rips the senator's ass in the last episode, and it's on TV, how many people would love to have done that?
Yeah,
it's my dream every day just to march on Washington in the Congress and just rip all their asses. Both parties, all of them.
Yeah,
they're all. God damn, they all are the reason things go to shit here.
Exactly.
And it's stupid ass reasons that it happens, and that's why you point out, like, you say this, but you only see it from this point of view. You're not seeing it from all points of view. So that was a great part. Not only when he shows up in the Captain America Falcon hybrid, costume that he had in the comics. I popped so big for that one.
Oh God, yeah.
He crashed through the window and he's wearing a suit. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, I got excited. I was watching that with my wife when that happened. I do want to mention that though. She was like, wow. She never did see that. She's like, she loved it. For someone who never seen it a comic book, in the comic books, but also seen it for the first time, she loved it. She was like, that's Captain America. I remember her saying that. She said, he's Captain America. And I was like, you're damn right, he's Captain America. Now that is established. And she loved the suit. She loved that. But yeah, I mean, like with the Flag Smashers and like the problems and stuff, I do like how Sam did by the 4th episode was trying to talk to her, and he pretty much was there. They tracked her down, and
I mean he had it. Just it was the impatience of John Walker.
Walker, yeah.
John Walker trying to prove himself instead of just following the guys who actually have already been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Pretty much, if I was the Falcon or Sam or Bucky, I would have been like saying this to like John Walker when he came walking in there, like before Sam had a chance to talk to I'd have been like,
well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but 2 things right now: Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
That's pretty much how I felt there. with John Walker, he was impatient. It's like he was Sam almost got through to her, and then he comes in, time up, and then all of a sudden she flips right back to her purpose and everything, and then Sam becomes the enemy again.
And you understand that, and you understand their view.
Yeah,
I can understand their view too. Like you said, you understand why they're upset. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, they're not really. No one's getting hurt, but then once they start hurting innocent people to get their point across, then that's when all bets are off. That's another thing. Another subplot throughout this whole story is John Walker trying to prove that he is worthy.
Yes.
Of Captain America through this all this.
Yes.
And that's why he's impatient and with all this, because he has to be the one to bring in the flags. It has to be him, because he's Captain America. He has to be the one to do this. It can't be Captain America's 2 old sidekicks. It's got to be him. He's got to be the guy. He's the guy they picked.
Right.
And you see him going through that. You see him struggling with that all through that, and that's when he breaks down and finally takes the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Which Sam says. Ask Sam. Sam's like, yeah, I would never do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you got John and Battlestar talking back for Battlestar's like, hell yeah, I would. Right. So then when he has a chance, he does it, and that's pretty much sealed his fate right there. And I think that's pretty close. I think in the comics, can't remember if he had any kind of enhancements before he became anything like that.
I did read something about that. He did have some of the enhancements right before he became Captain America. He did have the super serum in him, and they were trying to make U.S. Agent what the government was trying to do with Captain America. It's, we got a mission for you. Go here and do this. Yes, sir. Do the mission. Don't ask no questions.
They wanted a good little soldier. That's just
right.
It. That's the thing. They wanted a good little soldier, and Captain America wasn't always a good little soldier. He always questioned things. So much so that, that time in the 80s isn't the first time he gave up being Captain America. He gave up being Captain America a time prior to that and was the Nomad. And they even brought that character back. I can't remember who was the Nomad after him, but yeah, Captain America became this whole other character for a little bit. Mm-hmm. He was traveling, going to town, kicking ass where he needed to kick ass, and right without the government telling him what he had and what he could and could not do.
Yeah.
And then when they saw the chance when they saw the chance to get the Captain America that they wanted, the government wanted, they jumped all over it. That's why you got John Walker. He's a decorated war hero and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
The thing is, and then, when you're a good little soldier, eventually you snap. Go figure.
Yeah, we've seen that, man. He snapped, and I think what pushed John Walker over the edge for that was the fact he got his ass handed to him by two Wakandas, and they took his shield and used it on him like a little bitch.
Yeah,
and he said that can't happen. I'm Captain America. It just
yeah. And the whole thing with Bucky's arm, like, in his arm. They could do that.
Oh God. Yeah, I love that. I loved how they did that. The Wakandas came in and whipped everyone's ass, and is like, "I'm Captain America." John Walker, they look at him like, "Yeah, whatever. We don't care who you are," and pretty much, I think that was one of the reasons why John Walker took the serum, because he figured if he took it, he would be Captain America, just like Steve Rogers. But he snapped. And when he chased down one of the Flag Smashers, right there, this shows how modern times is right here at the end of that episode, on episode 4, was the fact that he took the shield of Captain America's and he killed right there in public daylight in front of
20 million people sitting there with their phones recording it rather than trying to stop him or anything like that. They're just,
yeah, they pretty much was like that, man. Damn, that just killed me. And then he's standing there like, I mean, he's out of it. It's like this he's already went off the damn rails. I want to take a quick break and let's give a word from our sponsors. When I want to kick back a few cold ones with my friends, I head over to City Limits Tap Room. City Limits Tap Room has a wide selection of TVs to watch your favorite sports, indoor and outdoor seating. They are pet friendly. City Limits Tap Room also has food made fresh to order, and the grilled cheese is excellent. I recommend the grilled cheese and the apple pie cider. The fries on the side, can't go wrong with that, baby. For more information for upcoming events, head over to facebook.com/City Limits Tap Room. Keep up with the latest shows and content from Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net. Follow them on facebook.com/Podcast City Network, Twitter @PodcastCityNet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Podcast City Network. On Twitch, Podcast City Network. Podcast City Network, the top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
After that episode, Ripper, I said to myself, I can't wait till next week to see the outcome of John Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. They threw his ass underneath the bus, man. It's like, you're not Captain America no more. You're nothing.
Yeah, they stripped him and all that, yeah.
Yeah, and finally Sam...
Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows up.
Yeah, tell me about that. I'm a little bit confused about that. Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I'm not for sure, but there's like talks amongst the nerdum that, she may be Lady Hydra.
Okay. I've heard of the name.
The modern version of Hydra.
Oh, okay.
Did the government, who's infiltrated the government, and obviously she's CIA.
Yeah.
Just by the way she talks and whatnot. So
right.
Yeah. And she's going to use him. He's going to be used as a pawn. He's going to be used as a pawn. You know they're going to do something with him that's going to make him look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to think he's Captain Whitebread.
Of course he is, man. I mean, yeah. She gave him his name there. I mean, again, I know we're kind of jumping around here and there, though, but it's good conversation that we're having. I mean, yeah, you're U.S. agent. There you are, and I heard that she's going to be playing a part in the Black Widow movie coming out in July, which we'll talk about a little bit more. But yeah, she did great. She did great. She blew off his wife. Like, she's like sitting there, excuse me, who are you? Like, oh, here's my card. It's like, there's nothing on.
Yeah. That's the CIA. That's how you do it. Yeah.
That was great. That was great. But I was glad that Sam got the shield back and Bucky was pretty happy. But then they pretty much laid low. And I liked how they focused. They kind of went back and focused on, okay, you guys are laying low right now. You're waiting for the Flag Smashers' next move. So what do? Sam goes home and helps his family, and Bucky comes along, and then he don't like the fact that Bucky and his sister. Oh, damn. I thought that was great. And then he sticks around trying to help get that boat ready, and then Sam called in for some favors, to get the boat up and everything. I mean, that was his one other mission, is trying to help his sister, like we talked about earlier. And then with that going on, with that there, he also started training with the shield. He pretty much was like, I've been given this, and I got to do this. And he pretty much, I mean, did you like the fact that he was out there training with the shield and he's talking with Bucky and they're,
Yeah, like I said, I think, and then he has the interaction with Isaiah, which is great. Isaiah had such a negative experience doing it, and then he's bitter, and you understand why he's bitter, because of the time he had to go through and stuff he had to go through. And here's Sam being like, yeah, but we can't just hope things are going to change on their own. We got to fight to make the change.
Right.
And I think that's part of what inspired him to go ahead and take the shield, because he saw what they did to Isaiah.
Yeah.
And he felt this was a way to right that. Yeah. Like the ending of the series, like I said, I even posted on Facebook. I'm not even going to lie. I got a little choked up.
Yeah.
Where he takes Isaiah to the Captain America Museum, and now there's a little section that's all dedicated to Isaiah. And yeah, spoiler alerts. And if you ain't seen this yet, it's been over for what, 2 weeks, a week?
Yeah.
That's on you. It's on you, stupid. Why are you not watching this shit when it first comes out?
If you haven't seen it, then it's...
I get pissed off.
You are an idiot.
I get pissed off. We got to wait a week for each episode to come out.
Well, ain't that better?
I'm like foaming at the mouth for this shit to come out.
Oh man, it's like you gotta wait another episode. Hey Ripper, you gotta wait another week.
Damn.
Yeah. So my daughter works at a place with it's like troubled teenagers and stuff, right? She has the Fire Stick, so she has access to everything that we have access. So she takes her Fire Stick to this work, and if they're good, they were getting to watch an episode every week.
Yeah.
Falcon, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and all that. And she's like, yeah, after every episode, they're used to, these kids are used to Netflix. Boom, here's a whole season all at once.
Yeah.
They're like, are we going to watch another episode? She's like, yeah, next week. Because that's how it's set up.
Yeah. It's like, remember Batman, the old Adam West? Yeah. What's going to happen to Batman? Will he be able to get unfrozen? Same bat time, same bat channel next week. I love that. Because in one day, for example, like you just said there, Netflix. I know we're kind of going off here, but it's a point. It's a point.
Yeah,
like
I'll watch a whole season of something that if you cut the whole season, I'm going to sit and watch that whole season.
Exactly. I watched in one day. I watched all of season 3 Cobra Kai. Now I got to wait a whole year.
Yeah.
I'm like,
same
okay.
Thing. I do say.
Yeah. I do like that. Honestly, I do like the week by week, because then I know some people are pretty much like, oh man, week by week. I'll wait till they all come out. Now they're all out, so they're right now binge watching them.
Yeah.
You know, you could do that too. But yeah, it's just yeah.
But if it's out, I can't wait. Any of the superhero stuff, I can't wait. That's like this to be able to see this stuff the way they do it now on TV and in movies is like you have no idea. Like I grew up what we had the Adam West Batman. That's what we had. I had to watch old George Reeves Superman stuff, you know. The Superman movies that came out when I was a kid. Batman with Keaton came out when I was in high school. But you didn't have, there wasn't a lot of good stuff out there. And if you don't believe me, find Captain America TV movies from the 70s with Red Brown. God bless his heart. But those are terrible. The Doctor Strange TV movie, damn near unwatchable. The old Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
That was for, I think it only lasted a season. It may have lasted 2, but I'm pretty sure it only lasted a season. It's god-awful. But that's all we were getting.
Right.
So we ate it up. That's whenever these people complain about this movie, go back and watch this shit. You'll be grateful for all that. You won't even be remotely mad.
Right.
If you had to watch what we had to watch and be happy about it.
Right.
You know, Rex Smith as Daredevil. Really? The guy that used to be on Solid Gold is Daredevil. Street Hawk. Street Hawk is Daredevil.
Oh, damn. Wow. That's
Kids today, they're spoiled, Everett. They're spoiled with all this stuff.
They are, because my favorite TV shows back in the day I used to have to watch, I used to wait week by week now. Yeah, of course, I'm like you. I get a whole season. I'm going to watch a whole season if I can. And if I can watch it all in a day, I will. But if not, I'll take 2 days or 3 days. At least I'll watch it. But, I mean...
But when it's Falcon Soldier, what else I liked about this series is it kind of speaks about the times that we're going through today.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's not real preachy about it.
No.
And it's not just all left-wing, right-wing political like everything is today. Either you've got to be this side or you got to be that side, and if you're not, you're a terrible person, blah, 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 which that's part of the problem, too. If you can't see another person's point of view, then you know what? You might be a problem.
Right.
You might be the reason, we're going through the shit we're going through right now. And what I liked about this show is it has a little bit of social justice in it, but that's not the whole show.
Yeah.
It's not preachy in what it does, which I feel a lot of shows now lean way too much into that.
Yeah.
And you get your message across better if you do it subtly rather than constantly beating you over the head with it.
Right. They balance it. They balance it really well with everything that's going on. They don't take this side or that side. They pretty much balance it and let you look at it from all angles and stuff. But like we were talking about with the Flag Smashers, how like looking at their point of view, we're like John Walker.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can see these people who just come back after being snapped for 5 years. Point of view too, like, dude, you're in my house.
Yeah, get out. Yeah, I'm back, man. I was gone. I'm back. Get out. And I understood that, and it got to that point there at the last episode where they pretty much wanted to take out the group that pretty much was trying to help everyone with that thing, with what was going on and stuff, though. But of course, Bucky. I'm going to back it up here just a minute. Bucky ends up tracking down Zemo because he leaves, and he gets turned over by the Wakandas. So the Wakandas have Zemo now. Bucky joins up with Sam and on the last episode there, and Sharon Carter, everyone pretty much except Zemo is in what's going on in this last episode here on the final. I mean, also Bucky gave Sam a gift from Wakanda, last favor, and it's like, what is that? And I said to myself when I saw that, all right, let me ask you, when you saw the gift from Wakanda, did you know what it was? I knew right away. I said, it's the outfit from the comics. That's what the first thing that came to my mind. What about you when you saw the box there? He didn't open up yet.
Oh, what he gave to Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a feeling, like I said, and that's why it popped when he came through the thing, because, Wakanda, the shield is made with vibranium, which come from Wakanda. So, of course, who's going to ask them to do something? They're like beyond even Stark when it comes to the technological stuff in the Marvel universe, especially in the MCU. So, yeah, I had a feeling, but you didn't know for sure. This is the last episode. He ain't in the suit yet. Come on now.
Yeah, that was a great feeling, man. We got to talk about that again, man. He comes flying to that window, and he has that Captain America suit on. And like, what was your reaction? I knew you were like, "Yeah, finally!"
I was like, "Hell yeah!" My wife's like, "What are you carrying on about?" I'm like, "Don't worry, you wouldn't get it."
Yeah, I said that because my wife was like, she loved it, and I said, that's the suit he wears in the comics when he becomes Captain America. And she's like, I like it.
About so much is like it's a hybrid of Captain America and the Falcon costume. I love the fact that he's a Captain America, but yet he's kept the wings from when he was Falcon.
Yes, I love that.
And I don't have a problem with, some people have a problem with, they're just making him black because of blood. No. Here's why I don't have a problem with it. Because he has a history with Captain America.
Bingo.
I do have a problem when they race swap and gender swap just for no reason. Like, there's no reason. But this is more like a legacy.
Right. They're going by the source material. They're going by
no problem. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have no problem with it either. If there's an alternate universe version of them, and they're race swapped or gender swapped or whatever. That's fine. Like I said, I just don't like them to do it. I think the fact that Sam's Captain America is perfectly fine. It perfectly makes sense.
Yes.
And like I said, this happened a few years before. You're just now seeing it in the MCU, but this happened a few years back.
Yeah.
In comic books. So this has already been going on in the comic books for a while. And and if you have a problem with that, you don't understand the characters and whatnot. He is, like I said, they did it with Bucky. And when Bucky was Captain America, he carried a sidearm with him too. He had a pistol with him. That's like, to me, that wasn't really Captain America.
Yeah.
It's cool. I thought it was kind of cool and whatnot, but I like Sam better as Captain America than Bucky as Captain America in the comics.
Sam's more genuine. He is. Yeah. He's pretty much like what Steve Rogers was. Almost.
Steve Rogers. They are both like half of Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Bucky is the man out of time still. Like Steve Rogers was when they first brought him back.
Right.
Sam is the everyman that Steve was before he was Captain America.
Right. That's that. I still love the fact that it was Sam. Sam was like, all right, I've been given this shield, I'm going to do it. I am Captain America. And I loved it when he's fighting, he uses the shield and the wings at the same time. I was like, I love it, man. This is great. He's kicking ass. And so pretty much in that final episode, they're pretty much clearing each other out, and you're kind of still unsure about Sharon Carter, because who's she talking to? What is she doing? She has something up her sleeve too, as well. You see a little bit more in this one, and pretty much they go after the Flag Smashers. John Walker shows up, and he tries to reclaim, what do you call it? Damn, what's the word I'm thinking off the top of my head? He was trying to not revive.
Redeem himself?
Redeem. Thank you. Trying to redeem himself, and he gets his ass kicked again.
But he did help save. He did help with the truck there when the truck was falling.
Yeah, he did help. He did help in some capacity, but pretty much they
broke his arm the last time he tried to mess with him, so maybe he wised up.
Yeah.
What episode was that? The fight between, was that like the next to the last episode? Was that episode 5?
That was episode 4. Because episode 5 started out with the consequences of what after they got the shield back, and it showed
when they took the shield from him and they broke his arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that pretty much happened there. But they pretty much they get the leader of the Flag Smashers. I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head. Anyway,
yeah, I can't remember it off the top. Like I said, but it's a new character to me.
But she runs into Sharon Carter, and you find out about the power broker. Who's the power broker? Sharon Carter's the power broker. What the hell? I heard that she pretty much is still pissed that her government turned on her after what she was trying to do for in Civil War. So she's pretty much burnt up. She's pretty much kind of made like some stakes and a name for herself, kind of where she's been at on the run all these years, and then she pretty much kills her because she don't want the information out. If she gets caught.
Yeah, tying up loose ends.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene, dude.
Yeah. Who the hell she got pardoned, but who the hell was she talking to? That's the deal, which we'll find out
like
later.
The super soldier serum off the table, but now she's a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. again, and she's going to have access to all kinds of high-tech weapons and whatnot.
Yep. She's planning something, man. She's planning something, and pretty much, all in all, I mean, like you said, with the speech that Sam gave there, that was pretty moving there. And then I like it when when he flew down and onto the bridge there, and people's like, "Whoa, who's that?" And I love that.
Again, the Black Falcon. I keep calling him the Black Falcon. That one guy said, that's the Black Falcon. And the other guy goes, no, that's Captain America.
Hell yeah. When he said that's Captain America, I was like, yep, that's it. And they were addressing him as Captain America, too, even after he got done talking. He is Captain America. Sam is no longer the Falcon. He is Captain America now. And just a great way to end the series there, seeing his journey, him and Bucky became much closer now. And I do want to say this, I feel bad for Bucky. Bucky's there's been a sidekick to every Captain America. He's his sidekick now. He's the sidekick, man.
Again, I would argue that they're partners. I would argue they're partners. Like I argued that Falcon's part. Now, Bucky was told he wasn't even in the MCU. Wasn't really so much of a sidekick.
Yeah,
he was in the comics, but yeah, I would definitely consider them more like partners, like Tango and Cash, if you will, or Murtaugh and Riggs.
Yeah.
Any other action duo you can think of from the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what it started reminding me that whenever they do the bickering stuff, it reminded me of the old buddy cop movies from the 80s.
Great dialogue. I love the dialogue between both of them. Now, we did mention earlier about he did tell his friend there that he befriended what happened to his son. And he explained his son was murdered. His son was murdered by the Winter Soldier. And he came clean. and he saw the consequences afterwards, and he pretty much put it behind him. And that was the last name. Well, the psychiatrist was the last name on his list there, and he gave him a thing and said thank you. And he's moved on. Sam's moved on into the shoes of Captain America. Bucky's moved on from everything he's done now. And I love how it ended. It said Captain America.
And apparently Sharon's going to move on too.
Yeah, Sharon is. How'd you feel when you saw the last title where it said Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
Well, yeah, you knew.
Yeah.
You knew they were going to do something like that. Because that's just Marvel.
Yeah.
Putting a little sauce up the end. So yeah, that and like I said, I like it. It's set up to do a million things, much like WandaVision was just a big setup for the next Doctor Strange movie. But
yes.
this you don't. Is there going to be another season? Is it going to lead into something else? But
now
that's what I like. That's what some people don't like, the fact that there's not a definitive ending.
Yeah.
To any things. Me, on the other hand, I like, because when they leave it open like that, then you're like, ooh, I'm going to get more.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I like, because like we mentioned earlier, Lady Hydra apparently is going to be playing a role in the Black Widow movie coming out in July. And then do you think that this may play into what do you call it? The series that they're going to be coming out in Disney Plus with War Machine, which is going to cover tech falling into the wrong hands, Tony Stark's worst fear. That's going to have War Machine in it. I think that's going to play into that too, with Sharon Carter and stuff. But
it very well could. You got that coming out. There's She-Hulk in the works. There's Moon Knight in the works. There's
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. That's actually, they're already filming it. I'm trying to think. There was another one coming out. You got Loki.
That's coming out in June. Yeah.
You got the movie, the Master of Kung Fu.
Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Now, I did some research on that since we brought up Shang-Chi. That's one of the things I wanted to ask you. I did a little bit of research, and he pretty much came out in Marvel back during the hype of like the Bruce Lee martial arts in the 70s.
The 70s.
Yeah.
And I didn't read a lot of Master Gun, but if I went over to my grandparents on my dad's side, like my grandpa would have some comics, but it was always never any superhero comics.
Right.
But he would have Master of Kung Fu or Conan the Barbarian or Ghost Rider or some kind of Western comic. So I was a little bit familiar with him. But and for sure that's where they got him and Hong Kong Fooey dressed exactly the same. Version of him.
Hong Kong Fooey.
I'm like, why is he dressed like that?
Oh God. Damn, I haven't heard that name in years. I used to watch the cartoon. Yeah. I did.
But, it's a character with a ton of potential. He's got tons of potential of what you could do with him, and he's one of those he's not like a main top tier character.
Right.
So, he's overlooked a lot. Like a lot of how they started the whole Marvel stuff was, especially all the Netflix stuff that they had, like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and them. They're not the top tier guys. They're like Moon Knight coming out. Moon Knight's not a top tier guy. I mean, these are all series that have been canceled and brought back several times throughout the years.
Right.
But like I said, they've got potential. And Marvel, and here's something, Marvel loves diversity, and here's an Asian character that they haven't done a lot with, and now they have the opportunity to just give it a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
Plus, you bring in more. It's the word I'm looking for. don't want to say variety because variety is not the right word for it, but
diversity,
yeah,
more diversity,
more diversity to their heroes, and gives more kids out there someone to look up to, someone to that's how the best way to get a kid to start reading comics is give them a hero they can relate to. Exactly.
And when I heard of Shang-Chi, I heard of him through the announcement from Marvel Studios from Kevin Feige when he was talking about everything when they came out with the announcement and everything. And they said they were pretty much, by the time the announcement came out, the movie was pretty much done. And just we were waiting for a trailer. The trailer dropped, I think it was 3 weeks ago, right after Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier ended. Pretty much it came out. And I loved what I seen. I look at Shang-Chi is almost like the Asian version of what Black Panther is. So it's good to bring in a character diversity, like you said, into the MCU, because what part is he going to play into this? And it's going to be interesting in the movies later on, because apparently with the research I did, he does become part of the new Avengers at one point. He does help out the new Avengers, and he pretty much is escaping a destiny that he don't want, but he's going to have to face. And it's going to be interesting to see how this folds out, because I'm looking forward to it. It comes out. Let me pull up my note here. It comes out on September 3rd. It's going to be coming out. And the next thing that we do have on Netflix, Ripper, is Loki, which comes out on June 11th.
Disney Plus. That's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yes, 6 episodes. It's going to tie more. I heard it's going to tie into the two things I heard. Loki's going to tie into Thor: Love and Thunder. The 4th one is going to tie into that, but also into Doctor Strange. It seems like a lot of these movies are going to start tying into Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness, because Spider-Man.
I'm excited that they're saying there's going to be a multiverse.
Yes.
Because if a multiverse, there's a chance that we could see one of my favorite things in the Marvel Universe, which is Squadron Supreme, which is basically Marvel's version of the Justice League.
Okay.
And it's one of my... Matter of fact, my daughter just bought me the old miniseries for my birthday that I had when I was a kid and I don't have anymore, and she found it.
Nice.
The old 12-issue miniseries of Squadron Supreme. It's either Squadron Supreme, or when they first showed up, I think they called them Squadron Sinister. They've battled the Avengers and they've battled the Defenders. The first time I ever seen them, they were in a Defender comic.
Yeah.
And I got all the issues for that story arc in the Defenders, and then their miniseries came out, and I got the miniseries, and and it's it's the battle you always wanted to see, but you couldn't see.
Right.
The Avengers versus the Justice League. So Marvel's just like, well, here, we're just going to make our own Justice League.
Awesome. I love that.
And we're going to give it to you. So
right.
I'm hoping with the multiverse we'll get stuff like that, and we can get the X-Men have got parallel universes, and we'll hopefully get to see some of that with like the Dark Beast and where Apocalypse rules the world and stuff like that. I mean, I bought that whole thing too, the whole Apocalypse. Oh, what was the name of it? There was a whole series. All the X-Men titles changed type names for like a month, and the whole thing was about alternative reality where Apocalypse ended up winning, and like the Beast is evil now, and yeah.
Oh damn.
There's all kinds of cool shit, and Wolverine's missing a hand.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great with these movies there, and I'm really excited to see about Black Widow, because this.
I've been excited about that since they first, because it's going to have one of my favorite villains in it, and I want to see the take on it, and that's the Taskmaster.
Yeah, he looks badass from what I've seen in the trailers.
He's one of my favorite villains in the Marvel comic book universe. I can't wait to see what they do with him in a movie.
Yeah, because this movie here takes place right after Civil War and before Infinity War, and
it's just a theory. I think they're setting it up for her sister to be the new Black Widow.
Are they? You think?
That's just a feeling I'm getting. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I have nothing to back this up. I'm just saying, there's been more than one Black Widow in the comic books.
Right.
So it just makes sense to me since they killed her off, and they're introducing her sister in this, who basically is also a badass, that maybe when we start getting another Avengers movies, there's going to be a new Black Widow, and it could be her.
I would accept that because they're going source material. Of course, people who don't know about the source material, because we see it all the time on social media and stuff. Oh no, it needs to be Scarlett Johansson. It's like, yeah. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, for example, a lot of people, the comic book fans, said Black Panther 2. Who's the perfect choice to be for the new Black Panther? Like in the comics, his sister. So I'm glad that they're doing that. They're not recasting. They're going by the source material. And a lot of people, it burns me, man, because I'll find out about some information that I don't know. I'll dig into it and be like, oh, okay. And then when I see some people on there, it's like, it's like, shut up, man. Pick up a comic and read it. Yeah.
But what's worse is when the movie studios doesn't read the source material.
Yeah.
They put out what they put out. Like, that's the whole problem with the X-Men movies. Yeah, they're, like the first X-Men movie and a few after them were really good. But they're not following most of the mythos at all. They're just, whatever they want to do with it. And
it's Fox. I mean, Fox didn't have an idea. I mean,
and that's the problem a lot too with the DC stuff is, like I say the greatest villain in the DC extended universe is the Warner Brothers movie studios, because they screw up the movies. It ain't.
Yeah.
A perfect example is if you've seen the Snyder Cut.
I want to see it. I have not seen it. I don't want to pay for another streaming service, man. Don't spoil it for me, but
that's the Justice League. That's the Justice League.
What
we got was the Avengers Light.
Okay.
And this was like almost all the comedic stuff that was in what you saw is not in this movie.
Really?
And it makes more sense. Some of the things that happen in it makes so much more sense than what they put out. The Snyder Cut it's long though. It's like damn near 4 hours long.
Jeez, I would watch it just to see it.
But it don't feel like it.
Right.
It don't feel it because the story flows.
It flows. I love that. It flows through the whole thing. I love that.
And I said that just furthered what I had to think is that it's the movie studio. It's Warner Brothers putting in their 2 cents on everything, just destroying it. The thing with Marvel is they find people who are passionate about the character that already know who the characters are and stuff. Like John Favreau's favorite Marvel character was Iron Man.
Yeah.
So, he was very passionate about Iron Man when he directed it and everything like that. Kenneth Branagh, he knew about Thor, the comic book Thor. That's why it did what it did. That's the difference between Warner Brothers and the Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios will find people who are knowledgeable about the characters that they're going to have them work on. Why they most of the time kick Warner Brothers' ass and these type of movies.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, if it's a comic book movie, I'm going to watch it. I mean,
yeah, I get.
Yeah.
I even watch even the bad ones. Like same way with the series. Like the old Birds of Prey series was terrible, but I watched it.
Yeah, I remember it.
The whole time, like, this is terrible, and I just kept watching it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple things like that. I mean, Arrow, the last couple seasons was like,
yeah,
this is getting up the rails now. We started off jumping to the past, going back and forth past. Now we're jumping to the future. It's Green Arrow. He shoots arrows. Quit making this more difficult than it needs to be.
Damn. But, man, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff we discussed about tonight here. I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm looking forward to everything else like we discussed with that's coming out with the MCU. I mean, it's all good, man. It is all good. And I think we're going to take it home here, Ripper. Any other last thing that you want to mention before we close out here on this?
Wrestling fans, just remember, wrestling fans, FGW's Maximum Mayhem is this Friday night in Hamilton, Ohio at 190 North Brookwood Avenue. If you can't make it to a live show, join the Patreon page. All the big monthly shows are there. We have weekly Shockwave on YouTube, Wednesdays at 7. And the matches that aren't on Shockwave is also on the page. You can catch them on the Patreon page. And there's a lot of good stuff there. I mean, we get some pretty decent people stop by, but don't necessarily make Shockwave episodes. So check that out. We got OCW Tradition. Any fans in the Akron, Ohio area, Ohio Championship Wrestling's back. We'll be back at Chappelle's there in Akron. Big TLC match for the OCW Championship, and then War 18 years of War Wrestling. We celebrated May 29th. It's the Hall of Fame 9. All 4 guys in the Hall of Fame. I know I've had dealings with in my career and their career. Chiron, Chris Hall, Sherman Tank, and our friend Cody Hawk. So if you are a wrestling fan, I highly recommend you coming to any of these events or checking them out any way you can. Usually the war events go live on YouTube the night that they happen. There's usually a link you can click on. I don't know if it's paid or free or whatever, but there's usually something put up. So I don't know about OCW, but might want to look into that as well. So like I said, that is my May. That's my month of May right there.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And before I take off here, I do want to mention about Podcasting Network has merchandise. Head over to podcastcity.net/shop and pick yourself up some Podcasting Network merchandise and shows that's featured on Podcast City Network. And if you're looking to start up your podcast, you're going to try to grow your current podcast, we're currently offering services for social media advertising, marketing, live stream hosting, custom logo design, branding, transcript services, custom intros, outros, audio editing, and video press kits, one-on-one consulting, and much more. So don't wait. Contact podcastcity.net/services, and we will help you with your podcast if you're trying to grow and want to join a network with many, many great shows covering wrestling, sports, entertainment talk, and guest interviews, and much, much more over on podcastcity.net. And you can pretty much follow the Everett Lee Show here over on Facebook.com/the Everett Lee, Twitter at the Everett _Lee, Instagram at Everett Lee Show. And Everett Lee Show is a audio-based podcast, which is going to be coming out with new episodes here when I get some guests. I've been reaching out and new episodes are on the horizon, and you can listen to audio portions of the Everett Lee Show on podbeam.com, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere you get audio. But that's it. Everett Lee is signing off, and everyone have a good night, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of the Everett Lee Show. Peace.